அடுத்த நிகழ்வாக ஒரு சிறிய உரை ஆற்றுவதற்காக Sarmila Varatharaj அவர்களை அன்புடன் மேடை கலைக்கின்றோம். The next performance is a small speech from Councillor Sarmila Varatharaj. She was the first Tamil Deputy Mayor for London Borough of Wandsworth and is the youngest councillor. She is currently Wandsworth's Refugee and Sanctuary Champion. And she has been working with the British Tamils Forum tirelessly, like everybody else here, since the age of 16. And she is the Deputy Human Rights Coordinator.
எங்கே உங்கள் பரத்த கைதட்டலோடு அவரை அன்போடு இந்த மேடைக்கு அழைத்துக் கொள்வோம்.
Vanakkam. Good evening and welcome. As a Tamil woman in politics in the UK, it is an honor to speak in the presence of Vanathi Srinivasan Ma'am, the National President of the Women Wing for the BJP party. The government of India, from the time of independence, took pragmatic steps to celebrate the linguistic, ethnic and religious diversity of its population and formed linguistic states with regional autonomy and a union government, resulting in a democratic, parliamentary and federal model of governance. Sri Lanka, on the other hand, focused on a self-destructive path of marginalizing its constituent people, specifically the Tamil people, to build a mono-ethnic, mono-linguistic, mono-religious country. It implemented a model of governance to deny equal opportunities, instigating cycles of violence and pogroms by murdering, looting and raping Tamil civilians, pushing the country to a war lasting over 30 years, leading to the loss of lives of hundreds of thousands of Tamils. The genocide committed against the Tamil people from independence and the continuing structural genocide has made Sri Lanka a bankrupt country today. Where is the justice for Ula Tamils? Where is the accountability for the crimes against humanity and justice of Ula Tamils? The only mechanism in place since the atrocities of Mullawaikal till now is the process at the United Nations Human Rights Council. After Mullawaikal, the Human Rights Council carried out an investigation and identified 16 perpetrators of the Sri Lankan government and its security forces. 5 years after 2009, the first resolution was passed, which had a lack of genuine accountability process. This resolution was co-sponsored by Sri Lanka to hoodwink the international community into thinking they are addressing the issues. But in fact, they continue to carry out further violations of human rights. The human rights situation in the North and East continues to deteriorate, which successive High Commissioners of the UN Human Rights Council have continued to state in their yearly report and is reported by INGOs. British Tamils Forum have been engaging with the Human Rights Council and its member states from the very beginning and have been instrumental in advancing the accountability process to where it is now. Through BTF's engagement of member states, the Office of the High Commissioner has set up the Sri Lankan Accountability Project with the sole purpose of collecting, preserving and analysing evidence of violations of human rights, pursuant to the resolution that was passed in 2022. More than 100,000 pieces of evidence has been collected, including statements from eyewitnesses. In order for there to be justice for the Ula Tamils, there needs to be a criminal prosecution and to hold Sri Lankan perpetrators accountable. And the first step is to build a case using evidence, which is the purpose of the Sri Lankan Accountability Project. The findings of SLAP can be used for a criminal prosecution, such as a tribunal. And member states can also request to access these evidence from the High Commissioner's office. BTF continues to work with member states on the next step of establishing a criminal prosecution mechanism. Tamils in South India and Ula Tamils have had a brotherly sisterly relationship for many millennia. We have seen India's support for us at the Human Rights Council. In India's recent statement at the UN, India told Sri Lanka to take necessary steps to address the legitimate aspirations of the Tamil community and that India will continue to urge the Sri Lankan government for an early conduct of elections in the provisional councils in keeping with its commitment to devolution of power. Cllr Tamils continue to have their legitimate aspirations denied. In order for Cllr Tamils to heal and prosper, a political solution is needed. A political solution needs to be internationally arbitrated, as Sri Lanka has proven time and time again its domestic processes will fail. Therefore, a political solution needs to be arbitrated by the UK, US, India, and a group of core group countries. BTF's engagement led to recommendations by the High Commissioner for Member States to apply sanctions as a leverage to apply pressure on the Sri Lankan government. The US and Canada have applied sanctions, including on ex-presidents. We continue to request other member states to apply sanctions on credibly accused Sri Lankan perpetrators. Nearly 16 years after the end of the war, the genocide of Cllr Tamils continues, with the cultural genocide taking place in full force by the Sri Lankan government and its security forces. BTF will continue to work with India, the UK, and nations across the world until there is a future where Cllr Tamils can live freely in their homeland in the north and east of the island. Thank you.
Thank you.
நன்றி நன்றி. உண்மையில் இந்தியாவுக்கும் ஈழத் தமிழர்களுக்கும் நீண்டகால உறவு பாலம். எனவே அந்த உறவு பாலமூடாக எங்களுக்குரிய தீர்வினையும் எங்களுக்குரிய அரசியல் தீர்வையும் வென்றெடுக்க வேண்டும். அதற்கு இந்தியாவில் இருந்து நேசக்கரம் நீட்டி எமது உறவுகளின் உண்மையான பிரச்சனைகளை கண்டறிந்து உலகம் பூராக கொண்டு சென்று அதற்குரிய ஒரு தீர்வினை வழங்க வேண்டும் என இங்கே அன்போடு வேண்டிக் கொண்டிருக்கின்றார். அவருக்கு எமது மனமார்ந்த நன்றிகளையும் பாராட்டுகளையும் தெரிவித்துக் கொண்டு, உண்மையில் இந்த புலம்பெயர் தேசத்திலே இவ்வாறான இளம் சமுதாயம் அடுத்த தலைமுறையினர் இங்கே முன்வர வேண்டும். எமது பிரச்சனைகளை அடுத்த தலைமுறையினர் எடுத்து செல்ல வேண்டும் என்பது எங்கள் எல்லோருடைய விருப்பாக இருக்கின்றது. அதில் ஒருதராக இந்த எங்கள் மதிப்புக்குரிய சர்மிளா அவர்கள் விளங்குகின்றார். அதே போன்று முதலாக பிரித்தானியாவிலே நாடாளுமன்ற உறுப்பினராக எங்கள் மதிப்புக்குரிய உமாகுமரன் அவர்கள் இருக்கின்றார். எனவே இவ்வாறு பல உறவுகள், பல இளம் சமுதாயத்தினர் இந்த அரசியலை கையிலே எடுத்து இந்த அடுத்த தலைமுறைக்கு எடுத்து செல்ல வேண்டும் என இந்த இடத்தில் வேண்டி எங்கே ஒருமுறை அவருக்காக எங்கள் சர்மிளா அவர்களுக்கு கைதட்டி அவருக்குரிய உற்சாகத்தினை நாங்கள் வழங்கிக் கொண்டு